Alright. What's up, everybody? This man has got his mojo going. It's Dragon Kaisi Gaming's Dark. He's on a tear today. He just cut through beyond like a hot knife through butter. But now he's got a big test in front of him. Cure in the bottom right, a beast. The man that pushed Reina to his limits in the first few games of the Gamers 8 finals before Reina became godlike and unstoppable. Cure looked fantastic in that tournament. Cure is the best TVP player in the world, but he's also very good at TVZ, and him and Dark tend to always have bangers. I used to think a lot of their games would always end in late game standoffs where Dark would win because his Broodlords could outrange Cure's whole army with the old, the old Broodlings that lasted longer. He could siege from very far away. That's been taken away from Dark more recently, and as a result, it feels like Cure has more of a chance to beat him if the game goes late game. Now, there's a pretty quick ling speed on the way. Actually, it's not that quick at all. 14 seconds ago. He started his ling speed very late, considering he actually pulled guys off minerals to get gas as fast as possible. So, Dark's build order, definitely putting some question marks in my brain. But that's Dark playing StarCraft in general. Lings and Queens are going to try and defend the base. Oh, no way! The Reaper grenade bounced the Lings into surrounding the Reaper. You're kidding me. Cure, oh, that's a big mistake for him. And I mean, it's also just a big bit of luck for Dark. That was awesome for Dark, but very annoying for Cure. Good focus fire does manage to target that. The hatchery will stay alive for now. Cure, good reaction, doesn't get caught by those queens moving down. Reaper's jumping in towards the main base right now. Queens and Lings moving forward. Oh, yep, okay, Reapers are going to take out a Zergling. Couple Lings, good focus fire for Cure. You gotta be careful that the queens don't catch you on the way out. And there we go. Oh, speaking of which, oh, barely gets away. Well done by Cure, man. Behind this, Stim, Shields, and a third Barracks are on the way. So he's gonna go Stim, and Combat Shields will start up now that he's hit 100 gas. There we go. So he's gonna go for the Stim, Shields, Marine timing attack. Zoloff 1 gas. He'll build a third command center behind this. Marines come out and they save the Reapers. Nicely done. Where's that third command center? He's floating minerals right now. Cure is above 400. Definitely not the most optimal execution from Cure. There we go. 420 does put that command center down. He did this build against Rainer as well, I believe. Or at least in some of his games at Gamers 8. So very familiar with this build order. He should be going a gas and a factory in the near future. And there we go, that factory does go down. Second gas will start in just a moment. There we go, second and third gas goes down. Bunch of Reaper Marine coming across the map. There's still, I guess he's not really doing the sharpest Marine pressure. It's like a handful of Marines, but it is surprisingly early maybe. A lot of Lings coming out. Baneling Nest not quite ready. There's only 5 queens on the map. The Marine Reaper catches Dark. Not looking, but no, he actually pulls his queens back pretty quickly, sorry. And, oh, the Lings need to engage, but they're waiting for Stim to wear out or to find the right angle. Stim's worn out, and now they're going to go for it. Good micro by Cure, though. He's got to split around the left side of the middle line and the right. Those Marines wedge themselves very well in the corner, but with the queens there as well, it does get cleaned up. Dark with a decent fight. Just remember, he lost 2 drones, a bit of mining time, and he's overall down on workers. So this forced a good response, and now Cure's like, hey, I've got my third base finished. Your third hatchery is not mining this time. So this is actually quite nice. 3 gases are on the way. Dark's planning a Baneling bust. Oh my god. Oh, the Marine gets stopped from scouting it. If he walls off with an engineering bay there and there, he might be fine. The Cure is literally lifting a barracks to go for the... Oh no! Oh my god, Cure! Get out of there! He sees the mass Baneling morph! It's a crazy Baneling all in. He's trying to wall in with engineering bays right now. He stims the Marines to get them behind the wall off. The Banelings are going to crash through these E-bays because they don't have any hit points yet. Oh my god! Dark, you mad lad, just shoving a Baneling bust right in there. Cure with some amazing micro, but will it be enough? Oh, so many SCVs taking those Banelings on the face. That Barracks actually is going to survive. He's going to re-wall. He survives. He survives. Whoo! Cure hangs on, and Dark is going to need to put it back in his pants and go back to droning. He holsters his Ling Bane thrust. He's got a few more that are still going to pop out, but there's no point making more Banelings at this point. And that was a very good hold for Cure. He lost 19 SCVs. I think it's not the worst situation, though, because you got Stim and Shields. You've got +1 almost done. Medivacs out, which are going to allow you to go counter drop. Dark's going to try to swap into Roaches, which is absolutely bizarre. If you've already got a Baneling Nest, That seems like a very weird choice. It's a surprise, I guess, but there's already tanks building for Cure, so I don't think that's the right choice. I think because his lair's so late, he just feels like Baneling Speed's too late, and Roaches, with the ability to morph some Ravagers early, is going to give him a better chance of holding on against this first counter pressure. Dark is going above 60 workers, but he's going to need to start building Roaches as soon as he can now. He cannot, if he queues any more drones, he might take big damage. 31 Zerglings with no upgrades, and 6 Roaches now on the way. Dark is up 20 workers. Like, that's pretty decent for him. It's really on Cure to find some counter harassment and limit the creep, or find some damage, delay a 4th base, something like that. Otherwise, that worker disparity will make its presence known over the next few minutes of this game. Slight supply block for Cure here. Builds a depot there, as well as a few depots around his base. He's still only on single engineering bay, which does hurt. And he hasn't really caused much impact. Dark's still being quite greedy. Just 6 Roaches, 30 Zerglings, and he's droning up. Where's his 4th hatchery, though? Dark does not have a 4th. He's going to 70 workers. He's very stuck on 3 base Roach tech. So Q has to use this time to keep the pressure up and then add his own economy behind it. Still down 20 workers, but with no 4th base, Dark's economy will stall out for a little bit. His 4th base is just starting now at 8 minutes 15. This creep spread was really nice behind the Bigling Bane attack. Kept spreading the creep very consistently. And the double drop on the south is going to start to now really limit that. Does almost leave a tumor behind. Oh, if he could have got the hatchery snipe, that would have been nice. Great morph into Ravagers to save a few of those Roaches. Ends up getting only 1 Roach, forcing a Ravager morph, losing a few Marines. Great micro by Dark there. Just as soon as he focuses a Roach, you just morph it into a Ravager. Gets 5 armor for that 7-second morph and pops back out at full life. Second engineering bay armory coming in, so it will be those extra upgrades finally finding their way onto the field. Already up to 5 barracks and a second factory on the way. No 4th command center just yet. The supply is similar enough, and the worker count is now similar enough. You can see what I talked about with having the medevacs and the better upgrades in army. You've kind of forced Dark to mass up these very basic units now, and it doesn't feel like Dark has much play other than doing a big 1-1 Roach timing. The only fear for Cure is that he overcommits to these little harassments, and when this all-in hits from Dark, it just kills him. For now, he's got very good building placement to make it hard for the Roach Ravager to get on top. His tanks are all centralized. He's also got a backup safety tank on the high ground, which I always like that. Marines are going to stim forward. Does catch a few Roaches. 14 Ravagers are morphing right now, but look at that. Even more Roaches getting caught out here. This ball of Marines doing very well. Cure finding some great damage. And as he sees more and more Roaches here, I mean, Dark's trying to hide the Ravagers. He doesn't want him to know what he's up to. He keeps thinking this is over. This is not over, man. Q is being very annoying. He's going to leave these Marines on this side. The question is, where's his Marines at home? He's not been building Marines! He's got a double drop in the north, 4 in the bottom. His tanks are wide open right now. A massive spready of Ravagerling is going to cleanse the Terran from this scenario. As long as those Ravagers and Link get in on top, look at that. All the tanks go down. Oh no, Q are way too aggressive. He didn't have anything at home, man. Nothing at home. The tanks were on their own. Nothing at home. The tanks were on their own. They called for help, but it was too late. For the Marines were out there looking for their own glory. A sad, sad story of Terran not recognizing that Zerg was all in on that attack. But wait a second. Wait a second. The Marines are getting in there. They're going to overwhelm all the drones. But no, with the Roaches coming out and the drones pulled, yes, he kills a lot of the Zerg economy. Dark's down to 31 drones, but he still has a base mining in the bottom. And I think, has he broken it? No, he hasn't. Oh my god, Q hangs on. That safety tank on the high ground that I talked about was huge. And he sieges this tank back here. That's got 17 kills. That's Sergeant Chadhammer, the anchor of Terran. The one reason Cure is still alive in this game. Sergeant Chadhammer herself. She rains down death from the high ground. Dark says, F you, Chadhammer, and he sends in a squad specifically to take her out. The inglorious bastards, those 5 Ravagers there. They say, we hate Chadhammer. She's an evil biznatch. Anyways, Marines coming in for the counterattack. They're going to find some overlords. There's still a lot of Roach Ravager there. He's still got 1 tank for safety. Dark is swinging the hammer. He wants to win. It's 1-1 versus 1-1. He doesn't want to let Q's upgrades finish. The bile's being spread against SCVs in the front line. Q needs to pull more boys. He's got to protect the tank. The tank is dealing out a lot of damage, but the biles will get on top, and Dark, the savage, is breaking through at the same time. Cure is on the rally point of Dark, but he needs to get in deeper and do more damage. The Ravagers here, there's not that many. You can see maybe if he pulled the Workers earlier, maybe Cure could have held on. But look at that. A new tank comes in. The triple bile takes it down. The SCVs and Marines actually cleaning up most of this with the production. At the same time, the Marines are clearing the natural. Oh my god, this game is so close. This game is so close. He's still got mules mining on the natural, which means he will be able to pop a few more Marines. But he's essentially got to get it done with his Marines and Medevacs because these units are still getting isolated and killed as they pop out. The Medevac does save a siege tank, which is very nicely done. But I think at this point, Cure should probably lift his buildings and save the money. There's not much mining. A few minerals in the main. There's a pack of roaches there. Some of these roaches are gathered together, but only about 7 of them. Not enough to fight. He's got to pull the drones. And pulling the drones, of course, they tank a little bit of damage, but they don't do much damage. The Marine count there has to pick up and pull back. It looks like Dark may have been able to take him out. He's got a single roach on the natural. The Marine comes forward with another Marine popping out. They take out the roach. He's got his mule mining back up. If he gets his mule mining back up, then maybe. But look at that. The roach is coming across the map. Cure is going to send most of his medics home, his medevacs. And those 12 Marines there are still going to go in, or 10 Marines, and try to kill that hatchery. I don't know if he can do it, though. It looks like the siege tank that got dropped did die. The mules are no longer mining. He does find the mineral line, but those drones evacuate. They're going to try and long-distance mine right now. Lings are being built only by Dark. Lings and Queens, because he is, of course, out of gas mining. But with 4 thingos in the main, he could still mine that and still do okay. 4 mineral patches in the main, and each one has about 200 resources. That's enough to build a good 30-40 Lings. 30-40 Lings is a lot against 14 Marines, even if you don't have a melee upgrade. That being said, 2-2 is finished. These Marines are elite. They are beast mode Marines. They are big boy Marines. Their Gauss rifle is huge, thick, and firm. They've got their bayonets fixed, and they are ready to stab face, man. Command Center is trying to float around to get some sneaky mule mining, but it's being denied very well by Dark right now. Cure does save all 10 Marines, but those 8 roaches, the Lings and the Queen, defending the main base for now. Dark realizes as long as he doesn't isolate these units, he should be okay. But I think Cure's got to group up all of his Marines and Medevacs. 14 Marines and 7 Medevacs is going to be able to smash these roaches if they're separated. If they're together, maybe not. Command Center is going to drop, and when he does, he's going to drop mules. He's got mules mining there and now up here as well. That's going to make it hard for Dark to choose where do you go. And look, he's landing that in secret just so he can drop mules from the high ground. The income from those mules will be stunning. Remember, that's only about 800 minerals, and then Dark's going burrow! Dark's building a couple of drones and burrow. The drones makes no sense right now, guys, because he's already almost out of mining. For some reason, he's trying to make gas. Does he have an infestation pit? He does not. He's trying to make burrow for his roaches and to just maybe win with tunneling claws. SCVs are being built by Cure. Personally, I would like to see him build more Marines as well, but he actually didn't lift his barracks, which is a huge mistake that's costing him. He's going to try and rebuild a tech lab, sneaky tech lab behind the natural. He's actually going to try and build it elsewhere. Yeah, behind the third's a smarter idea, especially if the roaches don't see it heading there. Mules and SCVs mining on 2 different bases right now. Dark gets the hatchery. That's the big priority for him. Burrow and a hatchery. 14 drones versus just 3 SCVs seems pretty good. But if you rebuild SCVs with this mule mining, that's where Q is back in the game. And he had a little bit of minerals in the bank, which is allowing him to build all these SCVs. All those mules as well. Massive income advantage. It's temporary. Remember, he was banking up energy because he didn't have anywhere to mine from. And look at that. He's going to have to lift that one, lose 3 SCVs. Costly. Very costly. Can't be affording these losses. He's putting SCVs in the main, but they aren't able to get to the mining. Liberate is a clever idea because there's no Ravagers right now, but he doesn't realize that Dark's actually back on gas mining, and that means he can make Ravagers, which will be amazing for him. Cure is behind in this game. Dark is looking ahead because he's still got the scarier army. 22 Roaches and a few Zerglings does beat this. But, yeah, he's kind of forcing Cure into a bit of a corner, isn't he? Liberator's going to siege up. Oh, every SCV that goes down is so costly. Bunch more workers go down. That puts Cure back on 2 workers. Dark realizes he's already done probably as much damage as he needs to, but actually the Marine firepower, remember 2-2 versus 1-1, and they have personal medevac healing, essentially. It's very good. I would have liked him to just chase those roaches down, personally. Command Center's pulling back. It looks like pretty much all the depots went down in this game. Factory's there, able to build a siege tank if he wants to. But for now, we've got 3 SCVs versus 21 drones. Dark is back in the lead. He can take a 3rd base and continue and be unstoppable. Still got gas mining in the main for another 1,000 gas there. And yeah, if he takes a 3rd, I don't think he can lose. I think it looks like with the Mass Ravager morph, he just wants to go aggressive. He's burrowing Zerglings and hiding them kind of everywhere and trying to make sure there's no landed bases secretly mining. Empty medevac comes in, Scout sees the natural, and Cure's going to maybe tap out after seeing that. That's a very bad feeling as Cure. Starts building a tank. He's got one down here. He's going to build another one in a moment. Going to send medevacs to go pick up those tanks every now and then. He's got a tank shelling. The tank getting some shots off is actually really big. Wow, we got some big juicy shots on those roaches, man. And look, he just keeps ferrying these back. This is amazing. Cure's like, all right, it's not the safest production line, but it'll do. We'll lift them in behind our base and keep it up. The mules are dropping. If he can sneak a medevac with 8 Marines past into a mineral line, kill 10, 15 drones, it's like Dark is suddenly way behind again. Because the triple orbital is still here. That's still the equivalent of having a bunch of workers mining, and he can always lift them to new bases, which is so useful in a low economy spot. The tanks have sieged a bit further forward, which is really nice. Double lib, double tank, and they're all spread. I don't know if you can engage that as Dark. He's going to go for it because he's a mad dog. Cure. Oh! Barely dodges. Medevac going up there to save the next tank when it does finally come out. Depots are trying to build. Oh, he unsieges the Liberator and moves the medevac as well. Very slick moves here by Cure. Loses a Marine there. But look, he's got a medevac tracking the Ravagers. He's got these Marines on both sides ready. The tank does get taken out, but for what cost? For what cost? The 2-2 Marines, even just a handful of Marines, kill a bunch of Ravagers. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any more. It's just 5 Marines left. Where are the other 2? They're still under the Liberator over there. The Roach Ravager is going to try to come in. The Liberator going to take out one of these Ravagers, but the Biles do take it out. Almost all the Ravagers are gone. There's no Marines left, though. There's no raw firepower. Oh, with the tanks gone, it looks like Dark has broken through. What an absolute poop shoot of a game. Dark starting off this grand finals by grabbing a bit of dirt off the ground, throwing it in Cure's eyes, kicks him in the shins, pushes him on the ground, kicks him in the crotch, and then drags him into a muddy, swampy, weird, confusing place. Dark ends up winning in the chaos. Very nice game one to throw his opponent right off their game. Great way to start the grand finals there. Dark in the top right now of Ancient Cistern. And that was obviously the Terran map pick he won. He won that map, guys. Down in the bottom left, Cure. Yeah, a long day of commentating often culminates in some of the strangest word salads ever, right? It's like when you have one of those friends who just makes a super weird word salad. Now that's going to be barracks gas, and he'll send another SCV to the low ground. Cure will be going for that low ground double barracks wall off. He's been loving that opening pretty much every game. It's reasonably solid. It was interesting. We saw Wayne try against Beyond earlier today, a 1-base Ling Bane to counter this. But it didn't quite work out. Felt like Beyond reacted maybe not that optimally either, especially on a map like this. But this wall-off's really nice because you can just put a single engineering bay there and you've got a super solid wall-off. Very hard to get through that with Banelings. And hard to stop that first Reaper from scouting that there's no expansion for Zerg. Obviously, that's a different scenario. This is just a hatchery gas pool for Dark. We'll see how he does in the early game. I really felt like he had a very he had a close series with Beyond earlier, but Dark got supply blocked a lot, and that's where a lot of his problems stemmed from. Just supply blocks in the early game. So hopefully he doesn't make those mistakes this time. I don't think Cure will be very forgiving. Cure is so tight right now in his play, he will just take you out. Obviously, when we have 2 Korean players in Korea playing, we'll play these games on the Asian server, the Korean server. They'll be playing with, I believe they're both in Seoul. And when I played in Seoul on the Korean server back in 2012, I usually had a ping of 2 milliseconds. So it's pretty much 0 ping. It's you know, it's instant reaction. Things are very smooth to micro. First Reaper's coming in, second one and third on the way. And it was a quick third command center, or natural command center, into second gas behind this. So looks like it might be the Banshee follow-up. I would expect a factory to go down before add-ons any moment now. Normally, Cure goes third command center before anything else, but with the fast second gas, I think he goes factory first. We'll find out in a moment. Good micro by Dark so far, but he didn't get the injects off. Oh, he's actually going to skip the injects? Whoa, Dark, what? I was going to go 4 Queen, no injects. He's already building 4 more Zerglings as well. Dark's overreacting. Does he think this is a 3-Rax Reaper? This is a very odd response from Dark so far. And he's got a third hatchery in the way. He's got a good timed Ling speed. But he's going to be very low on drones. He does start an Overlord, which is good. So he won't be hitting that famous 36 supply block as badly. Now, he's building 3 overlords right now to avoid it, I guess. You could argue that is basically a supply block because he's building so many at once. Reaper jumps up. Oh, nice micro. Slips by. And very annoying for Dark to deal with. High energy queen does want to pull her to the back. She can transfuse the other one though. Now, he's injected his main and natural now, and his 3rd queen's out. 4th queen will be out soon. He definitely wants to get some creep going at the front. He's got a lot of energy. And he's going to go inject into a few tumors here. Okay, those queens finally feel like they're not threatened, and they do plop that one out. It's basically designed to take waste disposal and turn it into self-replicating creep tumors. Insane. 3rd command center did go down here, but it is a very quick factory starport. And usually he goes Hellions and a Liberator with this. You can see he hasn't produced many Marines, only 3. So definitely it's that standard cure opening we're used to. Hellion, Liberator, follow up with a quick 3rd command center. Very standard. He loves this way of doing it. Dark does hit a slight supply block here, but notice he's already spent his lava on drones, and he's got an overlord on the way to get out of it. So as long as he builds a few more overlords, he should be completely fine. And it does feel like Dark's opening, all things considered, pretty clean. He's only lost 2 lings and an overlord. The overlord scouted what he needed to see. He's got spore crawlers going up on the edges of the map, ready for Liberator to come in. This is just a good setup for Dark, and it's his big boy map. So a difficult map to really put pressure on the Zerg as the Terran. You can't just shove and kill them with a big push as easily. On the other hand, I did see a few players do 2 base all-ins. And if you can get your tanks in this position and kind of push forward and spread your units around this ridgeline, very hard for Zerg to engage. Dark says, yes, screw that. I'm just going to go roaches, mate. You don't have to worry about weird tank pushes if you've got corrosive bile. If they come too close to your territory, you're always going to take them out with biles. Nicely done. Oh, very bad for Kua. Unfortunate for Kua there, man. By the time he noticed it had already started sieging, he had to wait for it to finish sieging, unsiege it, and then he's just going to go home and repair at his 3rd base. But that's already put a stop to that, and that means Dark's free to drone to 66 workers. Often the scary thing here is this double drop in the main. A lot of players are so busy with the kind of Hellions and the Reapers, the Liberator, and then the double drop sneaks into the main base and does massive damage. Double engineering bays on the way, as well as a 3rd barracks behind this. So Q is going to start getting into a more normal setup. Liberator does siege up, takes out a Zergling, and there is already an SCV underneath there repairing that Liberator while it defends from run-bys. 1-1 upgrades Roach Speeder on the way right now as well. Dark's delaying his 4th base again, and unnecessarily. He has the money for it, but this gives a big bit of information that he's not planning to play a macro game, most likely. It looks like he wants to just try and win with mass 1-1 Roach. He had a smooth opening. He's building 9 Overlords right now, though. A very nasty time to be supply blocked. Luckily, he already had 15 Roaches in production. So, there he goes. He's going to start a 4th base down the bottom. I think expanding in a straight line is not a... It's a pretty good idea. When you're playing Roaches, you don't have a lot of anti-air. So you don't want to give them this triangle where they can drop there, drop there, drop there. Makes it very hard to deal with. Marines scaring those queens back, but the queens and the lings just staying at a good distance. Roaches push back the Hellion Reaper, which have not spotted that 4th base just yet. And the queens actually come forward, get some good damage on the medevacs. Mass Roaches still on the way, guys. 1-1 upgrades, Roach Speed. All going to be done in about 30 seconds. Here we go. Mass Ravager Morph. That's the go button. He's going to go. He's going to shove. What has Kua got? Widow Mines! He's trying to build a tech lab now that he's seen the Roaches, but he saw it way too late. There's no way he defends this 3rd. He needs to pull back and defend his natural. If he tries to defend his 3rd, he 100% dies. He's going to try and send a double drop around the south, double drop in the north to distract Dark and buy time. But if Dark just continues across the map, splits just a handful of units with his queens to defend, he'll be okay. Losing his 4th base isn't even a problem. Kua, you got to get out of here right now. His first tank has just started at 7.5 minutes. Oh, man. If Kua survives this game, I will be very impressed. It looks like Dark might just be playing the opponent saying, I know you want to play Biomine. I'm going to make it look like Zerglings swapping a Mass Roach Ravager. So far, the Roach Ravager is being fought very far out. Kua needs to get back in his natural wall. He cannot be out here. He cannot be out here. He does decide to run back to the natural now. First siege tank's almost out. He could have sieged that on the high ground. There's no Overseer here. Marines on the other side do take out Dark's 4th base, at least limiting, but they're standing and fighting. Oh, big mistake for Kua. Kua's barracks. One of them's already down. Another one as well. Tank on the high ground starting to get some banger shots off from there. But these SCVs need to get out. Oh, he's going to turn and fight. The Biles will take out the Liberator. The SCVs, I don't think they can turn and fight right now. Q are trying to hold on to this position. I think this is a bad spot to fight. He's got to wait for that siege tank. He should be lifting this base and pulling back. He's giving Dark exactly the battle that he wants. And I think with the reinforce, now that Dark's cleaned up the drop, he comes across the map. Oh, that Bio's got to get out of there. That siege tank moved a bit too far to the right, and now it's not covering the natural. You've got to reposition that Q. This tank coming way too far forward as well. Q a little bit too slow to adapt to the scenario. He should have realized with how late his tank production was, giving up the third was the play there, falling back. But he fought a bit too hard outside his base. And what could have been maybe a survivable position, now is going to be very bad. Especially losing the drop was a big problem. He needed to keep that alive just to pin a lot of Dark's units at home. Keep denying the fourth base. If you're playing 2 base versus 3 base versus Roach Ravager, it's playable. But now he's lost 2 engineering bays, lost 2 barracks, and his third command center is almost dead. That could get biled down. Careful. Oh my god. Oh my god, watch out. That's going to get it down in the red. That's going to get it burning. The bio has to come forward, but they don't have any tank cover. The tank is finally going to get its first shot off. But look at those biles. The command center gets taken out, and Cure not willing to give up that third base location. If he gave it up temporarily, he'd still have a fighting chance in this game. It wouldn't be a good position, but it would be playable. As it is, though, Dark is too strong. His opening was smooth, slick, and now he's turning that into a lovely finishing off blow. Not the best spot for Dark to fight, but he's got Overseers, so he takes out at least 1 tank on the high ground. That's something. He's trying to just trade, trying to keep the army small, stop Cure from ever retaking a third base. He's taking his own 5th. He's transferred drones over there. Gonna go Infestation Pit, a few Zerglings in the mix as well. Every time you force a stim out of that bio, those medevacs you can see very low on juice. It is a lot of medevacs though, there are 10 of them. He goes after the Overseer, doesn't want that tank to get cleaned up. But Dark engages, picks off a lot of Marine Marauder as a price for that. This was an exceptional game from Dark, and one where Cure just did not expect this. Kind of dangerous going for a big 1-1 Roach timing on such a big map. But Dark has never shied away from danger. If he thinks he can surprise you with a strategy and take you out with a lethal move, then he absolutely goes for it. Last tank goes down. There's only... Oh, sorry. There's still 1 on the high ground. But look at this. The bio is just constantly getting engaged. Forced to move by the bio. We've got melee as well as +2 carapace on the way. Infestation Pit is done, so I think Dark will probably go Hive after this. Look at that. The bio's just forcing him back, picking off depots, picking off anything he can. New third command center is up in the main. Units lost tab, though, is way too close for comfort. Cure has a giant Marauder count, by the way. That's why the Zerglings are essential. The Roach frontline is getting just smashed right now by those Marauders and tanks. But if you can get some Lings in front, that's going to make it A-okay. No Overseers, though, so he cannot shoot those siege tanks. That's a problem. Just needs to bring in an Overseer and a few Ravagers from the right side. He can bile at least one of these tanks. As it is, he doesn't really need to make a play. Dark can just chill. He's got a Baneling Nest, Hive, melee upgrade, Overlord speed on the way as well. A few more drones coming in. Roach Ravager moving in and out right now, trying to drop some biles. And... okay, medevac bio moving in, moving out. Here we go, Ling Roach trying to come forwards and collapse on this position. Definitely feels like Cure right now is looking for the comeback of all comebacks. He's looking to max out and then punch through Dark. I don't think Dark could throw from here. There are other players I might be more nervous about in this scenario, but it feels like Dark has a very good understanding of when and where to engage and how to not overcommit here. So maybe drop the command center elsewhere, I don't know. The bio's starting to get out of control. Yeah, I think that was a pretty damn good fight there. But look at that, he runs forward, takes out a tank. Nice little run by on the south. Vipers are on the way, +3 carapace. Definitely want to see +2 melee on those Evo chambers. But hasn't started it just yet. As he swaps into a Ling Bane army, very important to have those Lings with melee upgrades. And there we go, +2 melee does start. No money for +3 right now for Cure. Looks like he's feeling trapped on 2-2. Still got tanks in pretty good positions. He's going to drop a ton of mules on that third. Start mining like mad. Probably wants to lift his main in the near future. He's got a little bit of extra gas banked up, but that will run out pretty quickly when he lifts this base. Triple drop going to go across the north. Those Marines are accidentally following it. Alright, Ravager, Lingbane, Viper. Still 20 Roaches in the army that aren't going to be too effective. But as Dark, you want to force small fights, small trades. That's how you're going to get it done. He doesn't have anything to deal with the Medivacs, though, other than Parasitic Bomb, which eventually will do it, but it's kind of slow to get going. Nice starter set micro for Cure. Cure wins this game. What should we call him, guys? I feel like Grand Wizard Cure. Now, you might say Grand Wizard. That has some connotations. Well, let's be real. In the Caprulu sector, you kind of want to be racist, don't you? It's a different sort of racism, you know? They're all-consuming bugs that literally want to eat your planet. You kind of want to hate them. You kind of want to be part of a bunch of weirdos that go around figuring out ways to hunt them down. Anyways, no, honestly, if Cure makes this work, this will be amazing. He's trying to shove on creep. He's got 30 army supply advantage, but a lot of his army's out of position right now. Good pullback by Dark. For Dark, it's all about blinding clouds and building up that Baneling count. You've had an income advantage for a very long time. And, man, I would have liked to take that dumb joke a little bit further, but we got to cut it short. There's action happening, guys. +2 melee, +3 carapace is almost finished. When those upgrades finish, that's a big upgrade advantage for Dark. Any upgrade advantage is big for him. He is down 20 army supply, but he's got a lot of bank to remax. I'm surprised he's not backstabbing, actually. I thought he'd be using his mobility a bit more, like send all your roaches across around against this army and try to do that, but he's actually... Cure's got him pinned. Cure's maxed out, but +3 carapace finishes. That's big. That's really big. +3/3 is not done. +3 attack, +3 armor is not done for Terran yet. So now being out upgraded by one for a little while. Scary. Big bio army reinforcing. The sheer amount of marauders on this map is wild. Abduct on a siege tank, does pick it off, takes it down. Nicely done. There's only 3 tanks. That's the problem for Cure. It's mostly a max of bio. Look at that. Queen's catch the Medivacs in the north. Very good catch there. The bio Medivac's going to try and join up. That means his army in the south's going to get caught. Blinding clouds, parasitic bombs all over. Beautiful. Oh, every tank gets covered. Every tank gets covered. The Medivacs took so much damage to parasitic bomb as well. Dude, bile the Medivacs. You know you want to. Bile those Medivacs, Dark. He's not watching right now. He's trying to defend on the top. The Queens are going to get jumped on. Cure split his army, and he took a pretty bad fight on the bottom, I would say. Dark took an amazing fight down there. But on the north, he's going to take out a hatchery and some queens. The supply is dangerously close right now. Dark still has more bank, but guess what? 3/3 is about to kick in for Terran. He's going to pull back, load up some Medivacs, drop the main, while the other bio pulls back, I would imagine. Back to 4 bases is Dark. If Cure brings this game back, he is an absolute psychopath. He's a goddamn legend. He's an absolute freak. If he does this, oh my lordy lord. Sorry, guys. Roach Ravager Baneling coming forwards. Let's go. Speciesism is what Q has got right now. And I really feel like he is the master of speciesism. He's saying these bugs ain't nothing, but oh, the parasitic bomb gets a triple medevac kill just like that. Very nicely done by him. Oh, Dark coming forwards here. If he can get these guys as well, that's going to be game. Is Dark going to be able to do it? The Marauders tank a lot. The Marines do a beautiful spready. They're killing all the drones. Banelings roll in and clear the mineral line, though. The orbital goes down on the 3rd, but Q is lifted out to a new expansion. All the Marines finally get cleaned up in the top, but it was not cheap for Dark at all. Dark just lost a lot of units there. He's trying to remax, but he's out of lava. What the hell? He has no lava! He hasn't been injecting and he never built macro hatcheries. Remember, he lost every queen before. Oh my god, Dark's down in army supply. He's making so many upgrades right now, but he doesn't have a lot of units. He's still got a pack of Roach Ravager that can buy time, but not much else. He's trying to make all these fancy upgrades. He hasn't injected since he lost the queens a few minutes ago. This is absolutely insane. No way, no way, no way. Dude, Q are trying to make it happen. He's fighting from behind. He's been so far behind for so long, but he's going to deny the central hatchery of Dark. He's got 2 new hatcheries coming up, but they don't have drones mining. He's running out of minerals. Meanwhile, Terran has 2 fresh bases with mules and 37 workers. Q is out mining Dark right now. No way. I thought this was going to be a 3-0. I was like, I can't believe it. Dark's done another nice, filthy build. Surprised him with the roaches. It looks like it's just going to be too much, and Q is going to, just be emotionally damaged. Even if Dark wins this game, Q is going to feel good after this one. This was an almost amazing comeback that still could turn into an actual comeback. He's going to find the worker line. He doesn't even have medevacs here. This is so dangerous. There's only 4 medevacs on the map. Q, you need to build more medevacs right now, mate. More medevacs, please. He's not producing. He's focusing on SCVs, Marines, and Marauders right now. Army in the top's got to be careful. There's not enough space in those medevacs for everyone to get inside. One of those Marauders will get left behind. At least he can pick up 90% of it, so that's good. Roach Ravager does catch him here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, here we go. Marine Marauder doing what they can, trying to pull back. The Roach Ravager dancing around. The Bio doing what they can as well. And there we go. Parasitic Bomb Fungal landing. Roach Ravager kicking ass right now. Dude, Dark, he's looking for the Fungals. They might keep him alive. They might keep him alive. Big Parasitic Bomb Fungal combos with the Spellcasters. I think Dark will hold on. What a close game, but the Fungals breaking Cure's line. Cure made an amazing effort. But Dark says, well, I have a giant gas bank. I'm going to make 8 Infestors, 3 Vipers. And it turns out Parasitic Bomb clears the medevacs. Fungal Bile clears everything else. And Dark is back in the driver's seat. He's got a new hatchery in the middle. He's got a fresh hatchery in the top. He is in the income advantage. But actually, no, he's not yet. Maybe when he transfers workers. Where are his workers? Dark's been having trouble transferring drones today. There we go. He's transferring them from that base. He's still got a lot of spellcasters, though, that will give him insane value as time goes on. But Q is back up to 55 workers. He's taking 4 gases because he's just out of gas right now. So he's going to try and start mining off 6 gases. But he can't really defend these bases. So if Lings start running in, they're going to cause him trouble. He's got a little marine drop on the south, but he accidentally pulls it back. That was an F2. There we go. A lot of drones here. And good value. Very good value drop. Already gets 7, 8 drones. Make it 9. And gets a couple of Zerglings for good measure. Like to kill a queen as well, or an extra drone. 10 drones for a marine or 2. Very well done. Ling run by comes in, it gets cleaned up. Dude, Q is still in this game. Even after those spellcasters got used so well, he's still in this game. What I'd like to see from Q, as silly as it sounds, is a Ghost Academy and like 2 or 3 ghosts. Dark tends to clump these Infestors in one big clump. You'd boost in a medevac, drop a ghost, EMP it, bam, bam, 2 EMPs across them. And it really takes the heart out of Dark's army. Gotta have heart and commitment. Dark absolutely has both of those things, but Cure, man, he's got it even more. Sometimes having a bit of heart and commitment ain't enough. You need next level modes of that. Command Center got killed, not cancelled. That's a bummer. Widow Mines are getting taken out by Zerglings without burrowing as well. It's getting a little bit chaotic in this game. There's still Zerglings burrowed up there. There's a turret being built on top of the burrowed Zerglings. If Dark notices, he can unburrow, kill that, and then burrow again, which would be hilarious. Because Q, obviously, with only a couple of orbitals, 2 left, in fact, he doesn't really have a lot of options for that stuff. So there we go. The burrowed Zerglings will start getting cleaned up. If any of those get away, that would be a very Dark thing to do. The other Zerglings are just out of range there, though, just out of vision. Hydra upgrades are on the way. Range is already done. Groove Spines will be coming in next. Ghost Academy is going to go down. The burrowed Zerglings are hiding behind that base. Watch out for the fungal. Oh, he splits 2 Marauders and a Marine. Gets an Infestor, but an expensive trade for that. Only gets a few Zerglings as well for good measure. Army supplies up 30 for Dark, and he's going Lurkers. Lurkers would seal the deal here. But man, Cure has turned this into a fantastic game. This might just be one of the best weekly series from a weekly cup we've seen in a long time. Already game 1 was a banger. Game 2 turning into an absolute nail-biter. I can't say I've historically gotten that excited when I've seen Cure vs Dark play and say, oh yeah, that might be okay. It's usually a decent match. Not like this though. This is so evenly matched. Feels like Dark understands how Cure plays and takes advantage of him, but Cure is just so good he refuses to die. Great Fungals coming in, catching some of this bio. Widowmine's going to do a good clearance in the Lingbane though. Oh my god! Cure was so busy microing the left, he shoves on creep like a mad lad. Big Widowmine shot. A little slow on the Parasitic Bomb spread though, and he abducted into the Hydras! Oh! He abducts both full Metamax, and GG, Cure has to tap out. Oh my lord. What the hell? Dark is up 2-0, but what a hard-fought series. So, Dark right now is on Babylon. This is a very good map for Cure. It's a small map. And this is where I expect Dark to maybe let his guard down after a couple of tense games. Q is feeling confident after almost bringing that one back from an impossible situation. And I'm going to be thinking Q is going to maybe hit a sharp timing and catch him out. Going to be very tough. All right, Reaper here. Just going to do a little bit of pressure, but nothing too big. Factory on the high ground, Marine there, 3rd command. And a Marine doesn't even damage the Overlord. Overlord gets in for a full perv And the Marine goes chasing after him, going, "Get away from my SCVs, you foul bastard! I'm reporting you to the police." The Overlord just there, running away, his trench coat intact. 3 more drones and an Overlord on the way. Bit of a late Overlord, is it? No, it's not too bad, actually. You always get a little supply blocked here. As long as that Overlord pops out when you don't have too much lava available, that's fine. You can go back to droning now that it's popped. And, oh, his first inject was a bit slow. Okay, interesting. There we go. 7 more drones coming out. More Overlords. Smooth opening so far, but no pressure to really throw him off. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just an 8 barracks, big 3 base push for Cure. Something that looks to take Dark out. On the other hand, Dark's so consistently playing Roaches, and I barely even got to make my point before he drops a Roach Horn. That does look like he's just going to once again play Mass Roach. It's just Dark saying, this takes the teeth away from a lot of the scary Terran pushes. I feel like I become the scary player when I play Roaches, and I think it's a good way to play. Interestingly, Banshees are coming out for Cure, which will be nice for stopping Roach aggression. Second gas on the way as well for Dark. I doubt he commits to any sort of Roach push. Without Ling speed, it's unlikely. It's a bit too late to just make a bunch of slow Roaches. And it's just going to be for safety. You'll probably build 3 or 4 Roaches to defend the Hellions. Maybe 5 at most. But for now, his Queens will deflect the first couple. Cure dies for the Creep Tumor, but it gets immediately replaced. And does lose a lot of hit points on that Hellion. 42 drones versus 34 SCVs, but the Orbital is already floating down to the 3rd. Those 3 Command Center builds, so efficient. Cloak is on the way for the Banshees, and we're already going to see the factory swapping around and 2 more barracks building. Straight into a very standard bio transition. This is about as standard as it gets. Just Hellion Banshee into bio. 6 Hellions, 2 Banshees, 3 racks, double engineering bay, 4th and 5th barracks, armory, 2nd factory, 4th command center, 3 more barracks. It's just, obviously he might cut the 4th command center, speed up the 3 more barracks, go for that push we were talking about. But the opening is very straightforward. Now, Dark's done a good job, guys. What's so exceptional is Dark is not getting supply blocked this game. And that is very different for Dark. Usually, he's used to playing with 2 to 3 supply blocks by the 5-minute mark. He's hit only the very normal supply block that's part of the build at 36. And that's really impressive. Earlier today, he was getting supply blocked left, right, and center, but it feels like maybe he's fully warmed up now. I do feel like Dark queues into these weekly tournaments without warming up and really caring about playing perfect in the early rounds. And it's by the time he gets to the finals here that he starts to really play very clean StarCraft. He's going to hit a supply block on 98 here, though, as he builds 2 Evos, 6 gases, well set up for that Roach explosion once more. Stim's almost done. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. We've got that double upgrades we were talking about. And this siege tank production, not building Widow Mines. Banshee's floating into the main base. Spore Crawler and 2 Queens ready for it. There's also an Overseer, which is, of course, out on the front, looking to intercept any Banshees over there. Good focus fire. Q gets 3 drones. Gets in, gets out with minimal damage. The Spore Crawler was a little far away, so the Queens do have to back off. Cruising for a bruise in those Queens. Infestation Pit coming down very quick for Dark. That could be used for, yeah, and a Hydroden. He's doing what I wanted from the last game. Just go straight into Lurker Viper. He might squeeze out 1 or 2 Infestors as well. If he can do that, that's going to be great. He's very low on Roaches right now. 2 Infestors do start up. He's putting 6 more drones. This is so greedy. If Cure commits to a tank push, he can probably kill Dark. Dark is both trying to go Hive, Infestors, and 280 Workers, all off the back of 9 Roaches. Like, this dies to so many different things, and Dark has no idea what the follow-up is to the 3 command center. Dark is playing balls to the wall greed, and you know what? He's getting away with it. The Hellions do very little. He's only killed 5 drones in total in this early game. And all Q is doing is just a little bit of light drop harass while building macro up at home. Building Marines, building tanks, just chilling. He's not going for a big push as far as I can tell. These tanks look like they're just setting up for the defense. So Dark's, look at that, going up to 77 drones now. Got the 8 gases, the Lurker Den in the Hive on the way. And only now is he building a few more Roaches. He's played so greedy and gotten away with it. 29 Marines and 3 tanks would absolutely smash 13 Roaches right now. Wow. Q is going to be annoyed looking back at this game if he loses, realizing that Dark decided to just pedal up the greed, dial up the greed, I should say, and absolutely get just an incredible economy going now. Dark doesn't have a macro hatchery. He does have to be careful about his lava. Roach Hydra's pretty expensive units, so usually you don't need a macro hatch, but you do need to inject your hatcheries consistently, and he hasn't been injecting his natural or his 4th base for a while. Second factory's coming up now. 4th command center on location for Cure. Good bit of greed to at least help match the pace of Dark's greed. And the real trick here for Dark is he needs to start these Lurker upgrades immediately, and these Vipers immediately, and does it. The Lurker upgrades start pretty soon after the Vipers. There's about a 15-second delay, but not too bad. He's queued up both of them. He's starting Ling Speed, which I don't think is a priority. I think he should really focus on getting his 2-2 upgrades first and foremost. Looks like one Fungal already got used and definitely whiffed, because since only a few Marines have actually gone down. 6 Lurkers and 8 Overlords are morphing. Dark's building Zerglings. I guess he just wants something to tank. But he's not making 2-2. Serral does this where he doesn't make 2-2 with this build as well sometimes. Okay, looks like he might be doing the Serral build. There we go. +2 Carapace finally starts. Normally you make about 10 Lurkers and you want to shove on the 3rd base with those Lurkers as soon as the Vipers, as soon as the Lurkers finish. With that build, you normally skip Vipers because you're trying to go 10, 12, 13 Lurkers as fast as possible. So I guess it is a bit more of a mixed version of the build. Dark not really known for tight build orders. He's very intuitive. He adapts as he plays. It gives him a very good ability to handle very chaotic situations, but it also means he misses a lot of kill opportunities where a very sharp timing attack would just go bam. You put Solar in his shoes, you put Lambo in his shoes, those guys would finish the game. They would have, I think, committed by now with those Vipers. Those Vipers have a lot of energy. You've got Lurkers with range. I mean, it would be such a killer timing. You get in there, you take out the front 2 tanks, you kill the 4th or 3rd. That's massive, but Dark is just chilling. And Roach Hydra Lurker Viper does not transition nearly as well as the Ling Bane style into the lake. Here we go, he's pushing, but why is he only pushing with 2 Lurkers and 20 Roaches? It's a bizarre push. He does abduct 3 tanks in, which is not bad, but most of his army doesn't seem to be here. Does manage to fungal and take out the Banshee using that for detection. Not too bad. Didn't have an Overseer with him. Oh, there he did. Just nearby. Lurker does take out a depot. It's going to try to run away. Adaptive Talons is now finished, but Marines sandwiching it from both sides. Does take it out. 10 more Lurkers and some more Lings on the way. Dark's taking a long time to go for these Lurker timings, though. He's now going back into drones. Cure can replace those tanks and start getting these ghosts out, which he is building. He's also got 4 command centers on the way. He might be okay, but oh, big fungal! Big juicy fungal. You know, it's not the end of the world. The Medivacs healed most of the Marines through it. And whilst they take a lot of damage, those air units, there was no parasitic bomb or anything to combo with it. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been. The units take a bit of damage, but they don't die. That's what's important. Lots of Lurkers coming in, guys. The tanks on siege. Huge mistake here for Cure. Huge mistake for Cure. Oh my, those Lurkers getting right on top of those siege tanks. 2 of them die. 3rd one's going to go down in the moment as well. Oh no, Dark actually on sieges. Doesn't complete that Lurker shot. And those command centers will be falling. Dark getting an amazing position. I mean, Dark had such a greedy start. He's still got the big speed advantage on all of this. The Roach Hydra coming in to focus down those tanks. But one of the tanks does survive, only one going down. I actually think he's doing a pretty good job of holding his Cure. This is a hard position to be in. He's got a few more command centers up. So he's up to 5 orbitals right now. He's built 2 more of them. The tanks are shelling from that bottom side. Dark's got to get out of here. He stayed too long. He's going to get picked off by snipes and tank shots. He's got to get out of here right now. He's not actually doing any direct damage. He's just presenting his units for the shooting gallery. And Q is taking advantage. He's going to get 1 more command center. He's got to leave. More command centers being built in range. Q maybe offering him some gifts. Command center on the right dies. Command center on the left starting to take damage as well. Got to be careful with that. 1 command center has fallen. The Lurker attack on the top doing very well. Dark does use this as a distraction to start getting damage elsewhere. Really nicely done. Q's got to keep inching those tanks forward. He's got to keep getting more ghosts and tanks out as well. Mass Ling runs in. Remember, these Lings do not have melee upgrades, so they get just gunned down by the bio and the siege tanks. On the bottom side, another command center tries to build and gets killed. Q has got to stop building these command centers out there. That's the second one that's gone down without being cancelled. Finally, the ghosts clear up the top side. But this is some really good damage from Dark, and it's slowing down Q from getting to a 5th base. Remember though, there's no melee upgrades, there's no Baneling Nest. If Dark was transitioning into Ling Bane Hydra Viper, I think I'd prefer his position here a little bit. As it is, he's still got the nice forward spot, he uses it! Great fungal there on the Bio Ghost. The Lurkers all in range of the planetary, or a lot of them are now. There's snipes coming in, and Q is attacked into a bit of a choke point, but he does get big snipes off, and a lot of those Lurkers were attacking the planetary. Good trade for Q there at the end of the day. Ties up the resources lost, though, and that's probably good for the Zerg. Usually we'd say units lost is amazing for Zerg. Dark was not playing on the highest work account this game. So it's not like a Raynor game where if Raynor trades evenly and he's at 100 drones, it's game over. It was game over yesterday. In this scenario, it's mass Lurker wave 2. Problem is, Lurker is hard countered by siege tanks and ghosts. There's 8 ghosts out, 5 tanks, 2 more tanks building at a time. Dark, if he's going to keep playing this style, he needs to get more damage and he needs it soon. That's why he's attacking right now. Nice moves for Dark. Look at that. Big distraction there, and he runs in with the mass Lurker on the bottom. Beautiful play here by Dark, abusing how far away this 5th base is on Babylon. He's also got those Lurkers out of range. I think he's done it. I think he's cracked him. He's lost a bunch of his command centers now. He's lost his position. He can't quite get his tank ghost count up. Yeah, I was kind of in the middle of saying Lurkers aren't good versus tank ghosts, but these ghosts have no energy. They haven't been on the map for long enough. The tank count is being kept low enough that it's going down. They're not able to really scare the Lurkers back. Snipe's trying to come in from the flank, but he's only got a couple of snipes. He finally looks like he might clear this up. Q is always coming in with these brilliant engagements, like lovely tactics. But, oh man, he needs another scan. Does finally clear that up. Command center's in the top, having trouble. There is a siege tank there, but it's just out of range of those Lurkers. And the thing is, the tanks are much less nimble than the Lurker. Remember, the Lurker can burrow, unburrow much quicker. So if you get caught moving your tanks just in range of the Lurkers can actually unburrow and just jump on top of the tanks. Ghosts are going to come forward. They're going to take out one of these Lurkers. But look at that. They're very damaged. There's only 7 medevacs on this map. He's going to try and get back on there. One command center. SCV, sorry, repairing the command center. He's going to try and retake the bottom base, but this map always, this bottom base is so bad. I've always said this top base, I feel, and then this base is a bit better. Yes, it exposes this to being taken out, but you can defend that from this high ground, which is much harder for the enemy to attack into. Mass Ling coming in. The ghosts will easily deal with it on the right, but on the left, a couple of tanks will go down. Nice moves there by Dark. He's still not making melee upgrades, though. He's going for +3 range and carapace and adrenal glands, and yet he's swapping into a heavy Zergling comp while also getting a Baneling nest up. Got to be careful about those upgrades. That being said, Q is only on 2-2. Never got the time to get +3 up. And, ooh-wee. Okay, there's still Changelings spying on him, forcing Q's attention there. Lurker Harass comes in. Ghost's gonna go for it, and will snipe that Lurker down. Nicely done. Up the guts with the next wave. He says, attack the north, attack the south, and when you split your army to those sides, they come in with a big fungal! Big fungal on the Ghosts! Dark is feeling himself right now. He's flowing, he's finding openings where they should not exist. And Q just can't quite get enough time to stabilize his defenses. This is such a nice momentum play from Dark. Yes, some of the trades are a little messy. You know, he's falling behind in the units lost tab right now. But he's definitely keeping Q on the ropes and looking for those big knockout punches. A Nidus in the back, I'm almost sure, would have finished him at any point during this. Finally, the melee upgrade does start up after +3 range finishes. So he's going to go melee, pathogen glands, adrenal glands. Q is going to get a 5th base, but his 3rd and 4th are so close to mining out. There's like a few mineral patches actually on the 3rd that are quite heavy because it's been under attack. But those 2 bases will mine out, and having a 4th, or a 5th base, I should say, is not that big if your other ones are all gone. More Vipers coming in, more Lurkers, Banelings starting to morph here as well. Baneling speed never got made. You do not want Banelings unless you got Baneling speed. Bit of a mistake there. Baneling speed does now start up. The army trying to kind of catch these units. They got left sticking out there. Kua does save a few of the ghosts there, but the ones on the bottom get kind of surrounded. They do cloak and escape as the Overseers come north. Lurker, Hydra, Ling, Bane catching Kua in the open. Kua taking a surprisingly good fight. I don't know how. This was a really messy fight on both sides. Kua kind of stumbled onto the high ground with half of his army in siege mid-combat, but Dark attacked in a column. Half of his army was all the way back here, his Lurkers and Banelings, while his Lings were up here because they're so much faster. So definitely a big, awkward mistake there for Dark, who's still down 5,000 resources in the unit lost. His Lurker harass is great, but he's got to keep it up. He can't take his foot off the aggression. He's got to keep going. As long as that tank count's not that high, the ghost count's not that high, he can take him out. There's only 3 ghosts. There are 9 siege tanks, so shout out to Kua for being so good on that tank position. These 3 tanks are going to siege up there. Mass Ling hitting the north would be deadly, though. Ling's getting on top of that would be massive. Lurker looks like it does get taken out finally. Gas is being retaken. Kua is hanging on like a champion. After that last game, he says, I can come back from anything. Anything you can do, I can do better. And anything you think you can come back from, I can come back from twice as hard. A lot of Lurker, Hydraling Bane. They could take out the bottom hatchery if they go around this army, but they're going to go for the guts. He's going up the natural. He's going to collapse in. Those tanks doing very well versus the Hydra Bane, but down here's the real fight. He breaks the rocks, collapsing, crushing a few of the bio units, and forcing Q to group his whole army on the left. Great play by Dark. Breaking those rocks was a genius decision, but he's pulling back. He doesn't want to get surrounded here. He's already breached the top. The command center's going down is massive. That's game ending. He's going to focus down one more orbital. It's super worth losing Hydras for that, and he does. He loses only 1 or 2 extra Hydras, gets the orbital down, and that puts him back to 4 orbitals. Cure, his lifeline is these scans and these mules that keep dropping. Without those, he's in the doo-doo. He's up Poo-Poo Creek without a paddle, and that means you got to get your hands dirty and start just putting those hands into that murky, murky sludge. It's not going to be a good time. Ling's running forward, going to try and surround the siege tanks right now. 3 tanks getting overwhelmed. The Lings, whenever they catch the tanks on their own, Lings become the best unit in the game. Tanks are very weak to their high speed, and the fact that they aren't armored, they just close the distance. They only take a single volley on the way in, and then they smash. Bio in the top doing pretty well for Cure. He does take 1 nasty initial volley, but cleans up 4 lurkers for a few bio units. Nice play for Cure. He's trying to move a new command center down. He says, if I can get this base up, maybe I can make this happen. Dark does not have a big bank. He's on 90 drones now, but I don't know if they'll all be mining. He's got more than double the income. He should be able to finish from here. He abducts 2 Liberators. Bailings run into the ghosts on the left. There's not enough to actually kill them, but the Hydras take out the tank. They take out the Liberators in the top side. The Bio does force the drones off this base, but for how long? The Ling Hydra is there in enough numbers to deal with it. On the bottom, a random ghost gets abducted. His scream, more epic than Boromir's groans of pain as he takes on the Urukai trying to defend the bloody hobbits. Every single ghost thinks they are Sean Bean, and who knows, maybe they are. Infestor comes forward, lands a fungal, but only on a single ghost. Good snipes there for Cure, getting a few points back. But a few points back for what? He's lost most of his command centers. He's pushed back into his corner. Both middle bases mining right now. At least one of them is, the bottom one being secured for Dark. Cure is so far behind, he's broke. He's got a few ghosts, a few tanks, and a few bio units. And Dark realizes if I attack both sides at once, you can't be everywhere at once. The Hydras move through the lib zones and start attacking them from behind. Extra Hydras, Lurkers, Banes coming in. Another command center is going to go down, as will that command center. No, does lift off and save. Yep, even mass repairs it. Nicely done by Cure. Trying to come forward to snipe the Lurkers. Actually, great snipes for Cure. The Lurkers not quite able to deal with all of those. Lings do breach the natural, though, at the same time. Lurker, Infestor, Viper runs forward. They take out some of the units. A bit of a sloppy fight there for Dark. I think that was not really a well-supported enough army. Lings and the natural finally get cleaned up. Cure with some crazy fights, but he's still only had 7,000 resources lost, and he's got almost no minerals left. A few minerals there, a few minerals in the bottom left. Essentially, it's one base mining, and even that is painful. 12 medevacs trying to heal their way through anything the Zerg throws at him. But look at that. Massive Ling run by. Finds the bio on the rally that doesn't have medevac support. A lot of Marine Marauders are like, let us in, let us in. Barry already raised the door and said, heck no, I ain't letting those bugs in here, boys. Meanwhile, it looks like the factory's getting taken out on the natural, so losing part of his production. Oh, wombo combo on the medevacs. Dark says, welcome to D-Town, boy. And Cure loses a bunch of medevacs there. Very nice spellcaster usage. Dark does lose the bottom central base, but I don't think he cares too much. He's got a giant army, and he's going to close in on top. Cure's army is taking a big beating, and Dark with a 3-0. What an exciting grand finals. That is the closest 3-0 I may have ever seen. Incredibly hard-fought games, but Dark just kept catching him off guard. Those nasty roach attacks. And all sorts of dirty plays. And Dark just so good when the game got down and dirty. He wins 3-0. Beautiful play. GG, well played.